So today we're going to be doing 9.5. So a trapezoid is a quadrilateral with only one pair of parallel sides. So for example, that could look like this. As you see, these two sides are parallel. However, these two opposite sides are not. Okay? So an isosceles trapezoid is a trapezoid whose non-parallel sides are congruent. So that would look like this. We have two parallel sides, and then our two non-parallel sides are congruent. Okay? And last but not least, we have a midsegment. So a midsegment is a segment that connects the midpoints to the two non-parallel sides of the trapezoid. So it makes a mid-segment look like this. We have our two midpoints on our non-parallel sides, and we connect them, and that is our mid-segment. So now moving forward, let's look at the properties of a trapezoid. So here we have trapezoid ABDC, and the first property we know is that there are only two parallel sides. So AB and DC are our parallel sides in this trapezoid. So AB is parallel to CD, right? Because AD and BC are not parallel to each other. Next, it says that this is an isosceles trapezoid when the non-parallel sides are congruent. So here we have AD and BC as our non-parallel sides, and those are congruent, making this an isosceles trapezoid. So AD is congruent to BC. Next, it says that base angles of an isosceles trapezoid are congruent. So since we know that this is an isosceles trapezoid, now we know that their base angles, angle D and angle C, are congruent. Right? Finally, the diagonals of an isosceles trapezoid are also congruent. So here our diagonals are DB and AC, and we know that those are congruent to each other, so AC is congruent to BD. And remember, that only applies to isosceles trapezoids and their diagonals, okay? Let's move on to the next section. So this tells us that MN is the median of trapezoid HJKL, and we have to find each indicated value. So find MN if HJ is equal to 32. So that's what we have here. HJ is, let me use a different color. HJ is 32. And LK is 60. So we know that MN is the median, so we know it's the middle of the two. So all we have to do is find the average of the first two segments, and we can find the length of the median. So all we have to do is 32 plus 60 divided by 2. And we get 46. Okay? So, number 2 says find LK if HJ is 18 and MN is 28. So, this says HJ is 18. So, HJ is right here. Let me erase this. HJ is 18 and MN is 28. Is 28. And we have to find LK, which is the yellow here. So again, it's the same idea. We know that MN will be the answer to the average of HJ and LK, so we kind of just have to move backwards. So we would have 18, and we're going to say that LK is x. So 18 plus x divided by 2 is equal to 28. So now we multiply by 2 on both sides so that they cancel on the left. And we get 18 plus x is equal to 56. So we subtract 18 from both sides, and x is equal to 38. All right, so that's what we have for number 2. Again, it's the same process as number 1. We're just finding the average of the two parallel sides of the trapezoid, and that will give us what the median is, or the mid-segment. Either term works. All right, so moving on to number 3. Number 3 says, find MN if HJ plus LK is equal to 42. So this is the sum of HJ and LK. And that's 42. So typically when we do this, we would find the sum of those and divide by 2. But now we don't have to find the sum that was given to us. So all we have to do is 42 divided by 2. And we get 21. And that's it. That's what MN is. That's what our midsegment is. Okay? Moving forward. Number 4. Find the measure of angle LMN, which is right here, if the measure of angle LHJ is equal to 116. So here we know that HJ and MN are parallel because the mid-segment or the median will always be parallel to the two parallel lines in a trapezoid. So if we have two parallel lines and then one line here, what do we know about these two angles? They're going to be equivalent. So the measure of angle LHJ is 116, then the measure of angle LMN will also be 116. All right. So moving on to number 5. Find the measure of angle JKL, which is right here in red, if HJKL is isosceles and the measure of angle HLK is right here, is 62. Now, moving back to our properties, our third property said that the base angles of an isosceles trapezoid are congruent. And what do we have? We were given that this is an isosceles trapezoid, and we were given one base angle and asked to find the other. So, if one base angle is 62, guess what? The other one is 62 degrees as well. Okay? So, that's it. No work. Number 6. Number 6 says, find HJ if MN equals 5x plus 6. So we have MN right here in blue, and that's 5x plus 6. HJ is 3x plus 6. So HJ 3x plus 6. And LK is equal to 8x. So LK is here in green, equal to 8x. And we have to find HJ. So to find the x, one thing we know is that the sum of the two parallel segments of a trapezoid divided by 2 give us the median. So all we have to do is the sum of the two parallel segments, the base and the top. So 3x plus 6 plus 8x divided by 2 will give us 5x plus 6. So first we multiply by 2 on both sides, so it will cancel on the left. And we get 3x plus 6 plus 8x is equal to 10x plus 12. All right? So combine like terms on the left side. We get 11x plus 6 is equal to 10x plus 12. Subtract 10x from both sides and subtract 6 from both sides, and we get x is equal to 6. Now, the problem said to find hj, and we know that hj is 3x plus 6, so all we have to do is plug that in. hj is equal to 3x plus 6, so 3 times 6 plus 6, and that is 24. Okay, so that's all it is there. Trapezoids seem like they're going to be funky because we're not used to seeing them. They're not a common shape, but because of the parallel lines, it's a lot of ideas that we're already really used to, and we know how to work with more than we think, right? Nothing we did here today was too hard. I'm going to hold out on kites, so we're not going to go over kites today, so that's all you guys have to know for this lesson. So again, ask questions if you have them.